Welcome to Math with Professor V. Here's your latest integral of the day. We have the definite integral from pi over 3 to pi over 2 of sine squared x over the square root of 1 minus cosine x dx. If you want to pause the video and try it on your own, I'll give you a little baby hint. All you need to use is U-sub for this problem after you rewrite the integrand. So let's hop into our solution right now. I'm looking and things aren't looking too promising for me to just start integrating right away. There isn't an appealing U-sub. I don't want to do by parts. That doesn't sound nice. So I'm inclined to play around and say, what can I do about this pesky little radical in the denominator? So you could rationalize, but I'm imagining down the road that's not really going to help completely. What's better is if I multiply by radical 1 plus cosine x, because then I can introduce some Pythagorean identities. That'll be helpful. So let's try that. Let's rewrite what we've got first though. So we have integral pi over 3 pi over 2 sine squared x over square root 1 minus cosine x. And then I'm going to multiply top and bottom by the square root of 1 plus cosine x. And this is something that you'll learn to bust out when you have a trig integral kind of like this. This isn't the first problem I've seen where I've needed to do such a maneuver. So why are we excited? Well, now in the denominator, I can group those together and write it as radical 1 minus cosine x times 1 plus cosine x is 1 minus cosine squared x, right? And then in the numerator, we have sine squared x, radical 1 plus cosine x. Don't forget that dx. Oh, no. And then pi over 3 to pi over 2. How are we doing? So this is exciting because now we have 1 minus cosine squared x down here. I can go ahead, replace that with sine squared x. So then let's just focus our attention at the denominator. In the denominator, we have square root of sine squared x. And be careful, this simplifies to the absolute value of sine x, not just plain old sine x. So what do I do with that absolute value? Well, thankfully, this is a definite integral from pi over 3 to pi over 2. And pi over 3 to pi over 2, that means we're in quadrant 1. Sine is already positive in quadrant 1. So on our interval from pi over 3 to pi over 2, it's positive already, so I don't need to worry about keeping the absolute value bars or multiplying by a negative. If somehow we slipped into a different quadrant, then you would just break up your definite integral into the parts where sine of x is positive, leave it alone, and then where it's negative, you're just going to add an extra minus sign. Okay, so what do we have now after that spiel? We have pi over 3 to pi over 2 sine squared x radical 1 plus cosine x over sine x dx. And yes, we can cancel out a sine x. That's exciting. And then you'll see in the next line, we're in business. So we've got pi over 3, pi over 2 sine x square root 1 plus cosine x dx. And now we can U-sub. Can you see that? Because this sign is no longer squared. Oh, that's my alarm. I'm up. This sign is no longer squared. And then I can just let the quantity underneath the radical be u. So let's let u be 1 plus cosine x. And then du is negative sine x dx. And then let's change our limits of integration immediately. Remember, these limits belong to the variable x. So that's where they're going to get substituted in. So u of pi over 2 would be 1 plus cosine of pi over 2, 0. Very good. And then u of pi over 3 is 1 plus cosine of pi over 3, 1/2. Nice, which is 3/2. And let's switch now and rewrite this whole integral in terms of u. So new lower limit is 3/2. New upper limit is 1. This sine of x dx is actually equal to negative du. So let me put the negative outside. Here's du. And then we have square root 1 minus cosine x. So that's square root of u. How are we doing? Good. Before we take the antiderivative, let's rewrite it so things are a little more clean. So there's a minus outside. Let's flip the limits of integration so the minus sign is gone. And then I have u to the 1/2 du. Beautiful. Add 1 to the exponent. Divide by the new exponent. That's the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. And we're going to evaluate this from 1 to 3/2. Okay. When evaluating, just leave that 2/3 out. So we're going to have 3/2 raised to the 3/2. Okay. Minus 1 to the 3/2. So 3/2 raised to the 3/2. I can rewrite that as 3/2 to the first times the square root of 3/2 minus, and then 1 to the 3/2 is just 1. And then from here, now we can distribute that 2/3 back through if we want. And then you can see, oh, 2/3 is going to cancel out with that 3/2. So I'm just left with rad 3/2 minus 2/3 now. Honestly, I would leave it. If you've been conditioned to always rationalize the denominator, then, you know, have at it. And then are you going to want to get a common denominator now too? I don't know. Where do we draw the line? Minus 2/3. Leave it. I don't think getting a common denominator would do anyone any good. But always do what your instructor wants, okay? Anyways, that concludes the video. I hope you enjoyed it. One thing I do want to make mention of, if you come across a scenario like this where you have square root of some quantity squared, you know, and it simplifies, it involves absolute value. Even if you don't need to deal with the absolute value, like we were in quadrant 1, so it didn't affect us, I would write this out on an exam, on any work that I do, because 1, it gets you trained so that if this was in a different quadrant, you're ready to handle it, which we can do tomorrow if you want to see how to deal with that. And the other thing too is you want to show your instructor that you're aware and that you didn't just simplify rad sine squared x to sine x out of carelessness, which a lot of students do. So 2 benefits there. 1, you're ready if it isn't positive all the time. And 2, you show that you know what you're doing, that you didn't just stumble upon the right answer by chance. Okay, that concludes the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. Did you solve it differently? I love reading your comments. And I hope you're enjoying some of the new content. I made a couple of video lectures for business calculus. I'm going to keep adding to that pretty much every day this summer. And then I'm going to be solving the final exams for Calc 1 and Pre-Calc in the coming days and working on some other stuff too. So turn on your notifications, and then you can also follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Math with Professor V. Thank you guys so much for your support. I love you all, and I'll be back sooner than later. Bye.